Welcome
to another episode
of
Driving to the Res,
which we are on,
which we're already at.
and we like it here.
Yes.
Actually, it's quite damp. Today there are about 20-foot seas. It's rained about 4 inches.
Yeah, we were driving to the Res today, and we couldn't record anything because of the rain was so loud.
Sheets. I'm telling you, sheets.
We were driving over rivers on the road.
We brought our chainsaw finally.
In case we
had any trees falling our way. We have been talking about that for probably 5 years. Every time we go for a drive in the storm, which you're supposed to not do, but you know.
Sometimes we have to check on the boats, you know?
Yeah, we have a good excuse. We have to check on the boats. But one year it took us 12 hours to drive to the Res.
It was 7.
7 is 12 when you're sitting there, if you don't have Wi-Fi.
It was 7 hours from the Shaman Shack to the Res, which usually takes
30
45
to 40
minutes.
Yeah. And we got rescued by a bunch of loggers who were on their way out from the woods to go home.
Yeah, several times.
Several times.
And the PUD also rescued us at one point.
Yeah.
And yeah.
There were no less than 30 or 40 trees across the road. We got trapped between trees.
It was more than that.
It was
because remember the coast road was also looked like a apocalyptic.
Yeah.
The entire road had been cleared, but my goodness, it looked like apocalyptic, man. It was really, really, and that was snow. That wasn't even rain.
Right, that was a rain, or rather a snow ice storm.
Yeah.
It filled up the trees with ice. The wind blew, it knocked them all down. I don't even know if the wind was blowing really hard.
I don't think it was, no, because we were quite surprised about it.
All the trees started falling down.
Really, snowing and this happens? It's bizarre.
Yeah. So we decided we were going to get a chainsaw.
We did.
So that wouldn't happen to us again. We wouldn't be trapped forever.
Mm-hmm.
And that took 4 years.
Yes. We have it in the truck. It's very nice. Where did we buy it?
We bought it at Forks at Jerry's.
Jerry's
Saw Shop.
Shout out for Jerry.
He gave us free hats.
He did, and he doesn't wear a mask.
No, he doesn't.
And they gave us also, his wife gave us free sharpeners for the
chain.
For the chain, what are those called?
Files.
Round files for the chains. Yeah, they're very nice.
We got our chainsaw actually not for that reason. We got it because our tree in our front yard has 3 trees in one.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the 3 was grown a little bit awkwardly. Yeah. One side of the tree was like
really
very,
thin.
very, very, very thin. There was like 4 inches of tree on one side and, about 2 feet of tree on the other side. And so it was extremely weak on one side.
Yeah.
The other 2 trees sort of twirled together like a candy cane or something.
Yeah.
So they're strong. So the 1/3 fell over. Missed all the cars, missed the porta potty, missed
everything.
the fence. Well, hit the corner of the fence.
Yeah. Which then
that was
Missy
just a
finished
temporary
demolishing.
fence. That was a temporary fence to keep the toddlers in.
Yeah, and Missy totally demolished that fence afterwards.
She saw the fence goes down. She's like, when she wants to, she just ran right at it and dove right through it.
Yeah.
It was hilarious amazing. Watching her crash through the fence. Yeah. Well, anyway, we got that so that we could cut up the tree from the yard and turn it into pieces of firewood.
And Hopi made another brand new fence made of wood and proper fencing, and she tried to
run through it. She bounced off.
Oh, it was funny to watch her too. She really tried and bounced off.
But she has a door so she can go in if she gets out.
Yeah.
Because she's very, very determined, this dog.
Oh, she is very determined.
She sees us somewhere and she wants to be where we are. Literally, almost nothing's going to get in her way.
Right. But with her, she's street smart.
Yeah.
She doesn't get on the road when loggers are coming or trucks. But Romeo,
not
so good.
Not so smart. Actually, he did get hit by a car.
He did, yeah, right in front of us.
Yeah.
We were running at him to stop.
He thought we were chasing the car too, I think.
Oh my god. Yeah, probably. Anyways.
So he just bumped his nose on the bumper, and it didn't hurt him, but it sure did. I mean, I would think it would knock some sense into him, but it didn't.
It's their bigger enemies now. He barks at every single car now and tries to chase those because one of them bit him, He's special, that boy.
Yes.
So anyway, we have a chainsaw. But today we were not going to talk about storms and chainsaws. No.
We're just setting the scene.
Yeah, setting the scene.
It's a nice stormy day. We're on the res.
We are on the res. And we're going to talk about
WW84. That's like World War 84.
Yeah, so we watched a movie, right? That is not. It was one of the first movies that released straight onto TV.
Yeah,
Prime or something.
Prime,
they didn't bother with the cinemas because obviously like, nobody can go to the cinema. And it was called WW84, and I'm like, World War 84, and I couldn't figure it out. Is it got to do with
3, 4,
1984? You know, maybe it's to do with 1984. And then it was like set in the 80s, so everybody was wearing 80s gear and it's like really horrible clothes and stuff.
It was quite
funny. Of course it's Wonder Woman 84, and it was a really fascinating movie, really fascinating. And then we listened to the reason I wanted to watch it personally was because one of our participants in the instant manifestation workshop said that the movie was about instant manifestation and all the nasty stuff that can happen when you do that, right?
Right.
So I was interested to see what they're telling the masses, because, you know, those warnings are from many ancient stories and stuff. Instant manifestation, you're going to mess it up, you know?
In the case of this, instant manifestation was a wish that comes true. Whatever you wish comes true.
Yeah, instantly comes true.
Yeah. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it and you want to watch it and be surprised, you probably better not listen to the rest of this, because we have no regard for spoilers.
Yeah, we're going to spoil the whole movie entirely.
Well,
not all of it, but
it's still fun to watch.
It is. Yeah.
The cinematography was excellent.
Yeah.
Well, the part I watched, I only watched about half of it and I gave up.
Anyways, so then we listened to a podcast about the podcast is a man who analyzes movies for Illuminati programming.
Well, he does a lot of things.
Does he? I thought that's what he said he was doing.
Jason Christoff is somebody that I like to watch and listen to. He gets a bit triggered often, you know. He has some very strongly held opinions.
Oh, okay.
But in this case, he wanted to demonstrate how the movies program you.
Yeah, I thought he'd analyzed several movies. He said he'd done it.
He's done it before, yeah.
Okay.
He likes to point out how it is that the programming that you might not be aware of occurs. And it's through repetition. They repeat the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and then it sticks. So in this case, if you watch a movie with Jason, you're going to get whatever, you know, thing that he wants to draw attention to, that's going to be repeated 100 times in the movie, that he'll find it 100 times in the movie.
And he had some good points.
I mean,
I didn't agree exactly with the answers that he gave of why, but a lot of the whys I agreed with.
Yeah.
And some of the things that had caught my attention also, and it's like, you know, not very good. And one of them was the masculinization of women in the movie. They all were very masculine.
Well, they were Amazons, of course.
Yeah, but not even that. The women in the background and stuff.
Well, I guess all of the women, pretty much all of them,
the protagonists, they were all very, very masculine women.
I guess it was like gender swapped.
Yes, and the men were very...
mostly betas.
Yeah, they were not... And infantile. They were infantile.
Infantile, yeah. Even the hero man, he was pretty much infantile. Childlike.
And kind of feminine, because he was all into the clothes and the colors and
different.
It was the
fashion.
opposite. Yeah, the opposite of the old movies when you say the guy sitting down and say For the outfits, it was the other way around.
Yeah, he's the one. He was
coming out of the closet.
7 or 10 different outfits, and she's like, no, we're not going out in public with you looking like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
at some point, totally, it was a gender swap, but also like degrading men, like just like old movies would degrade women. This one was very degrading of men, I found, and they were all assholes, you know, like really horrible men. And I'm thinking, I lived through the 80s. I don't remember men being that horrible, you know. Why are they showing that all the men in the 80s were totally horrible? I don't remember that being like that. And like all of them were really nasty and horrible. And then, and even the hero, you know, he was so infantile and a little bit girlish, and you know, so it's like, well, that was weird, and he picked up on that. I thought that was pretty good, the analysis he made of it. He has his reasons, and I don't agree with them, but you know, he has his explanations of why that's happening. But I don't agree, not in the sense of he's wrong, but more in the sense of I haven't really examined it enough for me to make an educated decision about an opinion. Yeah.
Right. So it's not not degrading what he has to say. It's just that
I haven't looked into
it enough to
see if there's any value behind the opinions. Right.
Sure. But his opinion, which was basically, we do get programmed unconsciously, even if we don't think it's happening, through repetition of image, repetition of message, and the message comes like 100 times in the movie. And he said basically it doesn't even matter what movie you watch, all the movies have the same program in them, the same programming through repetition for certain topics.
So one of the things that he's really talks about a lot is coffee, because he hates coffee, right? He doesn't drink coffee and he hates it. He says it's very bad for you, it makes you stupid, and gives you Alzheimer's and all sorts of nasty stuff.
He's sure coffee's like black tea with fluoride in it.
Yeah, he equates it to the same thing, like black tea or alcohol. He says it's all the same. Yeah. So
I agree about the alcohol.
Oh yeah, I do too. Yeah, I remember.
And weed.
So for a lot of shows that we watched, do you remember when I said like the worst thing would happen and the person would go and get drunk?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh yeah, that's going to fix everything.
Yeah.
Every single time.
They always have.
Oh my god.
They have a glass full of whiskey and they just drink it like it's water.
I know.
Like, that'll do nothing. Like, try and drink a glass of whiskey. Give me a...
No, thank you. It's disgusting.
Plus, you're going to be choking. I mean, I watched one of my favorite channels is Irish People Try. They try all kinds of things,
especially booze.
Well, yeah, they do try booze, but they try hot wings and they try funny snacks and things like that. They have funny accents. It's great fun to watch them. But yeah, when they drink booze and they say in their own words, "We're good at it."
Yeah, they are. I went to university in Ireland. I lived there for 9 years. They're very good at it.
They take a drink of that whiskey and they are, well, besides one person on the floor coughing and gagging and
Yeah, so
anyway,
they normalize it by the coffee part. And he was saying it was to make people drink coffee because everybody's doing it behind the background, coffee machines, people carrying coffee, people delivering coffees, just coffee's everywhere in the whole movie. Or everybody, there was always a scene with coffee in it. And when I looked at it, I thought, yes, I agree. There's a programming going on here, but it's not about coffee. It's about, because especially all around the world nowadays, people like to drink coffee and they drink coffee a lot. Then watching it in a movie makes you identify with the people in the movie and makes that normal. Oh, they're drinking coffee, they're good people, right? They're normal. That's how you should behave, right? Which is not exactly what he was saying. He was saying it was to make people believe that coffee was good.
Right,
so in that sense, I didn't agree with him, but the reasons behind those scenes with the coffee is the same, right? Programming.
Yeah, the programming. He was equating it like Gone in 60 Seconds, which is the stealing car movie.
Oh yeah.
So there's an effect in the town they observed after the movie was released in the theaters. Then car theft went up 26% for the next whatever year or something. And it's true too about suicides. When you see suicides,
yes,
when they're on the TV or news or reported, then all of a sudden suicides go up for a while. Monkey see, monkey do thing. Basically, he was saying, our monkey mind is programmed through repetition and observing and seeing people do. So seeing people drink a lot of coffee means that they should drink a lot of coffee. But he has read a book that vilifies coffee as the number one issue in people's lives. One of the big ones. And you have definitely a crusade, right?
Yeah.
So he sees that everywhere.
Yeah.
And it may be, maybe not. I mean, I can watch people who don't drink coffee, who do drink coffee. I just don't see the effect as pronounced as he's saying it. And I think that's a generalization for all bodies, because in my mind, all bodies don't respond to all things in the same way. So
the way that I perceive it is exactly like he perceives it, but the response or the analysis of it is different to me.
Right.
To me, it is, if we were to watch the Gone in 60 Seconds or whatever.
Car thieving movie.
Yeah. You can see that the protagonists and the people around them do certain behaviors that are normal, that people can identify with, and therefore can identify with the characters in the movie. Okay, so once you become the character in the movie, and then those characters go and do stuff,
Right.
then that's the stuff that's programmed in for you to do. That's how I see it.
Oh,
do you
okay.
see?
Yep, I see.
So I don't know what they did in that movie, but there was probably things that normal people do.
Drink beer.
There you go. Drink
Listen
beer.
to music, hang out in the garage, fix their cars.
There you go. Yeah.
Race.
Yeah, so
The
it's not
races.
telling everybody to drink beers or hang out in their car in garage fixing cars. That's the bit that grabs the person and makes them identify with the characters, right? So that's what when I look at a movie that everybody's drinking coffee, it's like, okay, that's the person to identify with.
So what did they do that everyone identified with in Top Gun? Because after Top Gun came out, everybody joined the Navy to be a fighter pilot.
There you go. I don't know, I didn't watch it.
We'll be fixing that fast.
No, I've tried to watch it and I get through 5 minutes and I can't do it. I can't do it.
I'll skip forward to about 10 minutes in and then we'll watch it. I must have watched that movie 2,000 times, honey.
Yeah.
It's an excellent movie.
Did you join the Air Force?
I joined the Coast Guard.
After the movie?
Oh, yes. I was going to join the Navy, but they have brown clothes and I couldn't wear those.
They don't go well with your skin.
It's not good, you know. And they have a funny hat, too. I mean, not putting down anyone that's in the Navy that likes brown uniforms and Dixie Cup hats, but, I mean, they just didn't fit my style.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the main reason.
Got it.
Actually, the main reason is because when I went to go look at joining a service, I have already been down the Navy path. I know where that goes, and I had my ship blown up. It was no good.
Oh, from a previous lifetime.
Yeah.
We know about that one.
So I wasn't inclined to join a warship service.
Right.
So I joined a life-saving service, and I thought I would be on an icebreaker and go to Antarctica. And I mean, that sounds like an adventure. I mean, sign up on the dotted line. Let's go to Antarctica. That'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get there. The whole, you can do that stuff turned out to be slightly misleading. Call it false advertising.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the Navy wanted me to be a nuclear physicist, and I didn't want to live on a nuclear submarine taking care of a reactor, so I also didn't want to be captain of a Navy warship again, so
yeah.
Coast Guard. And I ended up on a tiny boat, flipping them over upside down in the surf. That's nowhere near Antarctica.
That's true.
Anyways, yeah, I did get a fervor for joining a service after that movie that I didn't otherwise have before.
Oh, okay. There you go. And they probably were doing stuff that you can identify with, even if it's just the clothes they wore or whatever.
Identify with who I want to be.
Yeah, that's
Fighter
true.
pilot.
Right. But the things that they do normalize it.
Well, they did have beach volleyball. They were playing volleyball on the beach in California. It looked like lots of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you could put yourself in that place and then go be a fighter pilot. It was like, beach volleyball, sure. Fighter pilot, oh, that's where you go. If you do that. Yeah, maybe that's I guess what you're saying, right?
Kind of.
Kind of.
If you were like beach ball and you played it all the time, it would have worked better.
Yeah.
Then you would have joined them, not the Coast Guard.
Oh well.
Do you see?
I do see how that sets the scene for you to engage. And then when you're engaged, they can take you somewhere. But first you need to engage.
Mm-hmm.
So the things, some of the things are there to get you engaged, and some of the things are there to program you for a direction.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you identify with certain things, and that makes you more open and more easier for you to be programmed. It's a little bit like that marketing trick. You know, if you want somebody to listen to what you're selling, you compliment them first. Right?
I thought they just liked me.
No, they might do. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course they like you. Everybody likes you, honey.
That's good. It was a sales trick all along.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me personally, and Larry and I were talking about this before, the bits that I was actually listening to that show waiting for the important part of the show, right? The important analysis. I was dying to see what he thought about the whole important part of the movie.
The Illuminati's influence in the movie,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Me too. I was waiting for the whole thing, and by the end of it,
He didn't do it. He didn't even
say
say it. He didn't
anything.
mention it.
Just coffee.
Yeah. I was like, what? What?
Illuminati wants us to drink coffee? Really? That's the big scheme?
And it isn't.
Well, it's working. I'm
it's
drinking
about instant manifestation and
It
programming the
was.
masses not to do it.
Right, because if you might get what you wish for, and that's going to be
the end of the world.
bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Literally no one who got a wish. Well, all of their wishes were, myself, to begin with.
That's right, yes.
Only all about themselves. Nothing about anybody else.
Uh-huh.
And, well, they included other people, but
Not really.
it was kind of like power over them.
Over others,
right?
yeah.
So she wished for her dead boyfriend to come back to life.
Yeah.
So how did he come back to life?
He possessed another
He possessed
man.
another man's body.
Yeah,
What happened to that guy?
exactly.
I don't think we ever found out, did
No.
we?
Well, he appeared at the end of the movie wearing one of the outfits that she really liked. And she says, "Oh, I really like your outfit."
No kidding. I missed the end of the movie. I kind of got this. I think I got a little bit mad halfway through because the wishes were okay and they were nice to begin with, and then they started going sideways, so I had to leave.
Yeah, so the programming that to me was the most important part of that movie was don't even look at instant manifestation because you're going to mess it up for everybody on the planet. It's going to be bad, right? Especially if you're an immigrant from Mexico. Then you're really going to screw up the world, right?
Oh, wow.
Do not do it. Because the
Okay.
bad guy was an immigrant from Mexico who said it's a failure as a businessman, and he wanted to do good, and everything failed.
It was
for
the
him.
oil business too that was the
It was,
failure, remember?
Yeah.
That's one of the themes they have going on in this Great
Mhm.
Reset.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
oil. We're
No
going to
oil,
do
it's bad, yeah. So interesting little programming bits there. Wonder Woman, she's foreign as well, from the Amazon, I suppose, Amazonian. She has an accent. She's very masculine. At one point, she goes into the closet to choose some clothes, and I look at her in the scene, and I'm thinking, where did that man come from?
Where'd that man come from?
Yeah, because you could see her from behind.
Mm.
She looked exactly like my brother-in-law with big, long black hair tied up in a low ponytail, right?
Right.
And her arms were up looking for things, and she was wearing a work shirt, very masculine, and she looked exactly like him from behind. So it's like, where did that man come from? And then she turns around, ooh! Right, so yeah, it's like the programming of instant manifestation, and yeah, the workshop that I'm doing is the first thing, because it's already started 2 months ago, is for you to allow yourself to instantly manifest. You have to get rid of all your BS first. All your low frequency programs, all your fearful programs. Yeah, you need to get those sorted before you can step into becoming an instant manifestor, right?
That's why you're not an instant manifestor right now.
Because you stop yourself, because you have all that BS
Yeah.
running.
A to B to C.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, yeah, at first everybody's all about the I, me, and myself if you're still carrying those programs.
Yeah.
But actually, instant manifestation can be extremely powerful when done right and done with the right people. Collaboration and co-creation and orchestration with other people. It can be very, very, very powerful.
Can it also be like the movie? Kind of like go sideways really bad?
If you haven't sorted out your your programs and things.
So you could like manifest a bunch of car crashes or something if you're
Mhm.
worried about those all the time.
Yeah. So, for example, I've talked about this before, that instant manifestation stories always have a warning, right, attached to them.
And
You
can
have
we...
the Midas touch,
Midas touch.
Yeah, Midas touch. He turns his daughter into gold, right? And then she lies.
In this case, we can consider instant manifestation and wish synonymous. Like Aladdin, 3 wishes, they always go wrong.
That's always got it, yeah, always has it.
The
yeah.
wishes are your manifestations.
Right. And those wishes are made spontaneously and without thought, right? Instantaneously and whatever. And all those are parts of how do we go forward. Because another example I like to use is, say you're driving down the street in your Ferrari, loving your drive, and your Ferrari is awesome, making lovely engine noises and everything. And then suddenly, the road's gone, and you smash into a tree.
Oops.
And you go, what the hell happened just now? And because, you know, some person in the neighborhood decided that roads were bad. So they,
no roads
they instantly manifested no roads, right?
And that impacts your reality. Bam.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you see? So that's why the instant manifestation is also a co-creation. And that's the stepping into being able to tweak the co-creation is what I'm teaching.
Brilliant. That's really brilliant. I did find an interesting thing was the attempt to be clever about the wish. The guy, the Mexican guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's wishing with this crystal, and he wished to be the crystal.
Right.
That was interesting too.
Well,
He became the power.
Yeah, because the problem with the crystal, because there was a crystal that would grant you a wish.
Yeah, that was
the whole thing. Yeah, and unfortunately, you did your wish, and then you had to pay for it, and you paid for it by your most valued thing going away from your life. What you valued the most would go away.
You get your wish, but what you value most would go away.
Yeah, so you paid for your wish that way.
In that way.
Yeah. So this guy decided to get around that, and to get more than one wish, he would become the crystal. That's the wish that he made. He would become the crystal. And then he would grant people wishes, and then he would take back what he wanted. He would ask them, right, now, oh no, he would tell them, now I'm taking all this, this, and this, and the other, because that's the most valuable things that you have.
Whoa, wow. Yeah, that part I didn't watch.
Mm-hmm. So that's why he became the crystal. He got around it.
So it's sort of a valid warning, but the warning doesn't offer the solution, because no one actually demonstrated how you would make these wishes or instant manifestations correctly. They were all disasters.
Mm-hmm.
There was no
everything was a
proper,
disaster. Yeah.
There was no success.
No successes. Uh-huh.
So
and all the men were assholes.
and
all the women were masculine.
They were too. So basically that was what it was programming. It was demasculating men and masculating women, turning the possibility of instant manifestations or wishes coming true off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, disempowerment in a sense.
Exactly, total disempowerment.
The program of the movie is disempowerment.
Uh-huh.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
Well, the beginning was pretty nice, except for when she cheated in her Olympic Games.
Oh yeah.
Fell off her horse when I told her to turn around.
I know.
She did not listen. She ran right into a tree.
Yeah.
Fell off and slid down the thing and cheated.
Yeah, she did cheat.
Like nobody's gonna know because she didn't shoot her arrow at the little thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how she thought she was gonna get away with that.
Yeah. But the guy got really triggered that we were listening to about the Olympics because there was no men anywhere. It's just thousands and thousands of women.
It's like, where did those women come from?
Amazonian women. It's just that, well, they must be having babies with someone.
Yeah.
Where's all the men? And another thing that he didn't say is, where's all the baby boys?
Yeah, there was baby girls, not baby boys. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I guess we haven't listened to or looked at the legend of the Amazonian women. I mean, they probably already have answered how it is the Amazonian women have babies, but I don't know it.
Yeah.
I just don't know it. Overall, I would give the movie, well, probably not very many stars since I didn't even watch it all. I mean, there were things that were fun about it, like getting in the plane and taking off and having the plane go invisible.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty cool. There were scenes that were cool, but the overall movie didn't hold my attention. And I even like bad movies. I'll watch them to the end, hoping they get good.
Yeah, I wonder why you weren't able to watch this one even a little bit.
It was strange, right?
Very strange. You don't normally just walk off. You usually, rooting for the movie to the very end.
Come on, get better. Good guys, let's do something. Yeah, didn't work this time.
No, that's interesting.
I guess I'm done being disempowered.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because it wasn't really boring. It was kind of getting good. A lot of the smash up stuff was coming. I missed it all. Oh well.
Yeah.
So much for that movie.
So much for the movie.
We did want to talk about something else, though, right?
What was it?
Well, an interesting observation. I was listening to a podcast of this woman. Actually, I think I even have her name. Mary Helen Hensley, I think. Yeah, I got her album just now. Mary Helen Hensley.
Album?
Yeah, she has
music?
an album with the 528 hertz.
Oh,
in
cool.
it. So we'll give it a
Can't
listen.
wait to listen to that.
See what it's all about. Anyways, they were asking her how was her 2020, and she says, like, this is the best year ever. Reminded me of Brett and us. It's
I know.
It's really hard to hate this year. It's been
I know.
really excellent.
I
In
know.
a lot, almost every way.
In every single way, it's been absolutely excellent. I mean, gosh, excellent, really.
And I almost feel a little guilty. I have to work on that, I think. That it's such an excellent year, because I think some people have been having not the excellentest years.
Right.
But what is that?
Why?
Why would I be guilty?
I know, right?
Where's the little guilt come from? I guess I'll process that a little
Yeah, I
bit.
think you should.
I'll look at it,
Uh-huh.
evaluate it, and move on. Because I don't need to carry that victim stuff. That's just
You
victim
do,
stuff,
yeah.
honey.
You're carrying the victim stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that process you just had so that other people can understand it?
Well, yeah, the process was I looked at it and I felt a little guilty that it was such a wonderful year, because some people aren't having such a wonderful year. And that obviously means they're the victim of something. This, maybe Corona, maybe jobs, they don't have money, maybe they're the victim of something, which is disempowering them, in a sense, saying they're not divine, sovereign beings who are capable and able of making the choice that they're making. Because then for their own reason. That what I'm choosing is better in some way than what they're choosing, that my choice is the choice they should have, right? So
Yes.
it's a lot of those things. And basically when that realization comes, which is essentially the essence of an expanded awareness, is to stop, pause, look, go, and then say, okay, they're not the victims of anything. They're not.
They're not.
So don't victimize them. Let them have their experience, and fully enjoy whatever it is that they're here to enjoy, you know?
Yeah.
It's all right. So yeah, guilt gone.
Well, yeah, thank you for explaining that, because I mean, I understand that process, but a lot of individuals don't understand the process. So mapping to that or copying that is really important to explain it, I think, especially nowadays.
Right, because as I was doing it, I was jumping A to B to
really fast.
Z to X to whatever. I was like, oh, all done.
All
Oh, that
done.
was good. Glad that's over.
Yes.
So that's the slow down version. Pause, like, oh, look what I found. All right. So yeah, she was saying this is absolutely the best year she's ever had, and she even caught coronavirus on purpose.
Yes. Well,
And went to the hospital.
pre-warned, right? Pre-warned.
No, she wanted it.
Oh, okay.
She wanted to catch it so she could analyze it, because that's her thing.
That's her thing.
She catches Lyme disease and then she analyzes it and
Yeah.
does her, well, what is it? Where does it come from? And why is it there?
I
And how
thought
does
it was
function in
really
your body?
fascinating that she had to leave where she was and travel to LA, where they have the 5G towers, to catch, quote, Corona 19, end of quote.
Yes. Well, she went to go visit her friend who's in LA, and that's how she could catch it. Just going
Exactly.
on the trip to LA. Yep.
Yeah,
You're
no,
right.
it wasn't the trip, it was the
No,
arrival.
it was their arrival. Yep.
Yeah,
And then she went to the hospital and got kicked out of the hospital because she was too young.
yeah. And she was only worth $13,000 to the hospital.
Yeah. And so the hospital said,
And this
only
one's a
if you're over
doctor,
70.
right? Isn't she a
She's
doctor?
a doctor, yeah. And the doctor was talking to her, and he said, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go home. We
Yeah.
have got from the board, they said we can only accept patients that are over 70.
Because they're worth more than
Because
$13,000.
the 70-year-old is worth $33,000, and if I put them on a ventilator, they're worth $59,000.
Yeah.
And you're only worth 12. So you got to
13,
go.
so, yeah.
Just go home. You know how to take care of yourself, right? She said, yes, I take some vitamin D. I take some zinc, a little bit of quinine water, which is tonic water. I'll be fine.
And she does the hurt thing.
And anyways, in her case, she didn't go to the doctors because she wanted the doctor to help her. She went to the doctors because she said, I was curious to see what's going on in there.
Yeah.
Oh, she already knew she had what she had.
Oh, okay.
She wasn't going for a diagnosis in this case.
Okay.
Although she did say she goes for diagnoses sometimes.
She does, yeah.
In this case, she knew what she had. She went to the hospital because she was curious to see what's going on in there. She said she went in and it was like...
crickets.
There was 0 people but her in the ER. And everyone is in their little pressure suits. She said it was like the zombie apocalypse, but there was nobody showing up.
Yeah.
And anyways, they kicked her out because she wasn't worthy of it.
She wasn't worth much money.
She wasn't worth enough money to waste time. He said, and actually the doctor that told her she had to go, she said he quit too.
Yeah,
so he couldn't take it.
He couldn't do it.
Completely bullshit. Anyway,
back to the
story. She says the best year ever. And that was what Brett said. It's like literally the best year ever, 2020. Yes. And so how is it that we can have, for anyone who's curious, the best year ever 2021? Because anyone who's listened to the sneak peek of what comes in 2021, I think live streamed on Facebook.
Yeah, it's on YouTube and Facebook now, the recordings. Don't know how long they're going to stay there, so go and watch it, download it to your computer, man.
We'll put it on our Telegram, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's another point. So we are phasing out of Facebook and Twitter or whatever, Instagram, I don't remember. But we're moving on to Telegram. And one of the main reasons is that when I post stuff on Facebook, only a handful of people see it, even though you're subscribed to my channel and have the bells on and everything, only a handful of people see that what I post. And even if I pay a lot of money for you to see it, you still don't see it because they choose what people see it, right? The algorithms. And algorithms, sorry. Algorithms. And then the Telegram thing, if you subscribe to my Telegram channel, our Telegram channel, which is called Inelia Benz, thank you very much. You're my sidekick, baby.
Yeah.
Then you see every single thing that I post. There's no algorithms to move you into blindness.
Right.
You will see everything I post.
When you post it.
When I post it.
Not 2 weeks later.
Or never.
Or never.
So that's one of the reasons why we're moving into Telegram. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice that way. It's nice to have a channel that you can select what comes to you instead of have somebody else select what you see.
For you, yeah. Hopefully it will stay that way. I'm hoping so.
They promised they would.
Yeah,
I'm holding them to it.
Yeah. And of course the newsletter, right?
Right, but the newsletters can get buried in emails and get buried in trash folders.
Yeah.
So I found my things, I've looked in my trash folder and I found, what the heck is that there for?
That's true, yeah. So the video that Larry's talking about, it's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, and we do talk about 2020 and 2021 in great detail. So
right. So some people might have trepidation that 2021 might be a little bit challenging, unless, wow, that's the best year ever. But the thing is, no matter what, it can still be the best thing ever, because I guess...
How's the split going, honey?
It's pretty damn awesome, honestly.
Yes. So that's how it is. The split, how it goes, is within you. Right. It's within the person. How diligent are you to embody the high frequency reality that we are co-creating every single day, every moment to moment?
How diligent you are in making the choices to embody the high frequency paradigm. Which language means... What does it mean literally? I mean, I guess
it's literally
human,
choices. Yeah.
Choices.
Yeah.
Are you going to watch the 9 o'clock news every night?
Right.
Are you gonna?
No, me no.
Why not?
Because it's all propaganda. It's all just there to trigger you into low frequency and fear. There's no way I'm going to watch that stuff.
But don't you feel like you're going to be uninformed and don't know what's going on?
No, I don't.
You can open your eyes and look around.
Yeah.
And see your tribe and your friends and say,
hey,
what'd you have for dinner?
Exactly. And the other thing that is funny is like when people say, I wonder what the weather's like, and they look at their phone instead of looking outside the window. It's a little bit like that.
Well, now we got weather so good, Fred will tell me it's going to stop raining at 10.
Wow.
And then we can move the car. Like, okay, cool. Got a few hours.
The other thing about that, though, the 9 o'clock news, is actually not informed data. They just grab a tiny little fraction of data and put it out there, and they choose the worst stuff, the really bad stuff, the very scary stuff. That's what they choose, and then they word it in ways that will make you even more fearful. So it's not even informed. It's not staying informed. You can stay informed by choosing your information data on the internet, or people, right? You can choose this. You can buy books. One of the books we're reading right now is The Contagion Factor. Is that what it's called?
No. It is The Contagion Myth.
Myth. Oh, the myth. Okay.
Right.
By Dr. Cohen.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating. If you want to be informed, read that book. My gosh.
Yeah, if you want. I mean, there are a lot of theories around, right? Germ theory. Contagion is a theory.
Yes.
And it's assumed to be fact.
Yeah.
But in a lot of ways, there's a non sequitur involved. It's like, this happened, so that's why.
Yes.
Even though the middle part wasn't actually resolved.
Yeah, exactly,
it's just assumed.
Yeah.
So when you look at the assumed parts, you go, wait a minute, this isn't quite as solid of a fact as I assumed or thought, because it just isn't. So what is? Then that opens a whole new avenue of exploration into what are some alternative ideas or theories or hypotheses, and how can we test them?
Yeah.
Which is actually what the science is supposed to be.
Right.
That method of testing, right?
Yeah.
Test it, and it's repeatable, and you can do it again, and it does that.
They don't even do that.
Not really, no.
But anyways, let's not go down that road. But
That was a different road.
The reason I mentioned it is, like, for me, for example, that book is a way to inform yourself that is really, really awesome. He's an excellent writer. And to me, it would have been really fascinating, for example, to talk to this lady who decided to catch, quote, COVID-19, unquote, because I don't think she caught any type of virus or,
No, but she did have a body response.
Yes, she had a body response to something, right?
Definitely something.
That is what's going on. Anyways, I would like her to read that book, and then I would like to see what she thinks, right? And her viewpoints and her analysis and the outcome of that information.
Right.
I would find that fascinating.
Just because then you have different language to describe.
Yeah.
Right now, basically your news, watch the news, the data that you input, all that data tells you the language you can use to describe what you're experiencing. Even if it's completely not correct, it's still the only language you can use to describe it. So
Right.
I caught a cold. That's the only language you can say when you're, snotty
I know.
and coughing.
Yeah.
Oh, I caught a cold.
Yeah.
That's the language, and that means you got something from outside that came in you that made you sick.
Right.
And it was a bacteria or a virus or a bug or something, right? And there was no alternatives. Of course, a friend of ours, his brother was in the bowels of a ship, and they were painting, right? And they painted it with some stuff, and they didn't have respirators, and they died from inhaling the fumes, but the brother didn't. But he's sick for the rest of his life.
Oh, yeah, you tell me about them.
Right. So, in that case, obviously we know it was the fumes and not some viruses in the paint, right?
Right.
But from that point on, everything that is very sensitive, sensitive to the environment. So, I guess the language is important. And so, if you read more, if you spend time like reading Contagion Myth book, then the language to describe the things that you're seeing can change.
Correct.
So then you might find other things true. Until then, you're like stuck describing things in black and white. You only got black and white. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
The vocabulary, you learn a different vocabulary, you learn a different viewpoint of what things could be like.
Yeah.
And I really like the way he explained it so well. I explained it with a sunburnt thing. I don't have that language, so it's really, really cool. So yeah, you can stay informed. I wouldn't say I'm not informed because I don't watch the news. I say that I choose my channels of information very carefully to make sure that they're at an intellectual level that satisfies me.
Right.
and that I can respect, you know. And even if I see somebody using the old language, like this lady talked about catching COVID or whatever's, and I don't agree with her, all her other information and her conclusions were valid. She said it's her choice. It's our choice, how, you know, how we carry on, and if we get sick or we don't get sick and everything else. So everything else made sense to me. That's why I would love her to read this book and see what she thinks, because she is very intelligent and she does come to really awesome conclusions.
Yeah.
You know? So I would really love to see what happens, you know, if she does read this book. It would be awesome to see.
Well, I hope we have some of these conversations. They're supposed to be our Shaman Shack Chronicles.
Yes.
Or our interview series, but I think we've adapted and moved on. Now it's just driving to the res without the truck.
Without the truck. When we get there, arrival to the
We'll be driving to the res with whoever's here, wherever they might be.
Yeah.
Oh well. You said something about sweatshirts?
What?
Didn't you say you were going to have sweatshirts for me?
A sweatshirt?
Driving to the res sweatshirt or a coffee cup or something?
I didn't say that, no. It must have been a dream.
Right.
You must have imagined it in a dream.
I heard it when I was driving to the res. I was like, sure, it'd be nice to have driving to the res sweatshirt.
Oh, and I said I'm working on it.
You said you're working on it, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I can't wait. I like sweatshirts.
Cool. Yeah, me too. And mugs.
Yep, and mugs.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
So basically, back to the topic. How to have the best year ever, 2021, even after listening to what could be coming.
Make the right choices.
Choices.
Yeah.
Your choice
become
of
aware
experience.
And
it's
conscious.
your choice of experience.
Yeah. Become aware and conscious of your choices. Make sure they are conscious choices.
Conscious high frequency would be,
well, even better.
Mostly likely to be pleasant.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Even then, did you hear your puppy?
Yeah.
She's having
she's having a dream. Oh, puppy.
So when you catch yourself in let's say, a disaster.
Why would you put yourself in a disaster?
Let's say you catch yourself in a disaster and you want to find your way out of it. How will you do that?
You figure it out.
Figure it out. Okay. So, figure it out.
Yeah. What were you alluding to? What were you saying?
Well, because many of times we have things called oopsies.
Oh, we have big oopsies, yes.
Yeah, and when there's a whole giant $1 trillion machine aiming to try and put us into oopsies, and there's about a $150 machine doing the other thing, like, here's how not to have oopsies. You sometimes can get overwhelmed. I guess it's only reasonable.
Yeah.
Because,
well, here's the thing. Since 2010, I've been teaching people the fear processing exercise, so that they're no longer reactive to fear. Okay?
Since 2010, you've been teaching the fear processing exercise, so people are no longer reactive to fear. Okay.
They're responsive. They can respond to fear. They can respond to all low-frequency items and all low-frequency situations, people, reactions, and everything from other people. They can respond. Now, today I was making a point that this does not mean you become a robot. Okay? That does not mean that. It means you can literally choose a choice point how you respond. The reaction you don't even think about, it just comes out. That's a reaction.
Reaction is an unconscious program placed oftentimes by your environment.
Yeah.
Which is a conscious choice in a sense to be unconscious, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
Stretching it?
Yeah, well, whatever.
So that's from watching too much news, for example.
Yeah, the example I was using is that I recently had an argument, a very emotional, heated argument with someone. I was very hurt by what this person said, their words that they said. And when I felt that hurt, I had options.
Yeah.
Right? And I stopped and paused, and this is the options, the most in-your-face options that I had at the time. One of them could be, they're not really worth it. They can think whatever they like and whatever's. Carry on, it's not that important, and ignore them, right?
Yeah.
Just ignore them, it doesn't really matter. They don't matter. They really don't matter, and I don't really care about what they say. Okay? Another option was insult them. Call them every name under the sun, shout at them and scream at them,
Get even in a sense?
Yeah, get even. Hurt their feelings and insult them.
Okay.
Because it's somebody I care about. So that's why what they said mattered to me.
Right.
And the other option was, why don't I tell this person and show them that they hurt my feelings? Right? Why don't I do that instead? Because I noticed that everybody walks around eggshells. They don't tell this person that he's being hurtful. They don't. So I thought, well, I'm going to try that. I'm going to do that. And I expressed what I felt to him in a way that was not insulting. At one point it did become insulting, but I took it back instantly.
Yeah, you did.
Right? Because I was like pushing the limits here. I was pushing through to somewhere I didn't want to go. Again, consciously, I did not want to go into that place where it's just a share of insults and screams and shouts. I didn't want to go there. And that was my response. So a response doesn't necessarily mean you become a robot and all's very well and you don't react in any way or form, right? Well, you don't react, but you don't respond in any way that is like charged, But you say it in words and saying things that don't insult. I was just expressing how I felt, how he made me feel, what his words meant to me, right?
Right.
And that's a response.
Reaction probably would have been
full of F words, C words,
option number 2.
Yeah, push him around, maybe.
Call them dirty names.
Tons of names and, absolutely, yeah.
And then hang up.
Yeah, and then hang up, yeah.
Yeah. That would be reaction.
That's the reaction, yeah. And I could have done that one. That was one of my choices.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had chosen that consciously, no, I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to...
It wouldn't have been reaction then?
No, because it's literally a
chosen
choice.
Response.
Yeah. Right? It would have been a valid response.
So reaction is response to emotional input without consideration.
Correct. Yeah.
And response is also reaction in a way, because you're reacting, responding, but with consideration for what you're doing.
Yeah. Fully conscious. Fully conscious is a response. So response able to respond.
So that's like, right? That's why you do the fear processing. If you're got a fear, you process the fear and then you consider your response rather than just reacting out of the fear.
Correct. Yeah.
Because
or the hurt or the anger or whatever.
Or the whatevers.
So many years ago I was in California, and this is another example I like to use. I lived in California and I drove a lot in the highways and everything, and I had a really nice car, fast car. And for some reason, some people see you going in a nice, beautiful, fast car, it was a Mercedes Benz, and they become reactive, right? And they challenge you and they try to push you out of the road or whatever. And a lot of the time, I would get very angry and go for them and always won, right? I push them out of the road. Because I can become very aggressive, Latin temper and all that. And then one day I thought, I really have to... after 2011 it was, you can't play those games anymore, it's a low frequency, you have to be able to respond and not play those low frequency games. And I got, God dang it. So after that I became responsive, right? Mm-hmm. And those things would happen and I would look around and literally I would look around and see, is it safe to go for them? Do I have the energy or time to go for them? Oh yeah, I'm gonna. And I would become, road rage, or boy racer, and blast them out of the water, right?
Right.
But other times I would go, nah, I don't think so, and I would put my brake on and slow down and give them a wide berth,
And basically disengage.
Disengage completely because they won.
Yeah.
Right. Give them the win.
Yep.
Yeah, great, yay! You pushed me out of the road, yay! Winner. So it's that type of thing. It's a conscious choice. It goes from unconscious, so you'll just do it, programmed to just go for it all the time, or just react all the time, to becoming conscious and aware of how you want to respond. So that's part of the new paradigm too. That's part of 2021. All these things are going to come at your life, and you'll have that moment of, how do I choose to respond to this right now? How do I choose to respond?
Best year ever.
Best year ever. Anyway, that's all I have for today.
I think you covered quite a lot.
Yeah, I think we did.
I feel complete.
You feel complete?
I feel complete.
Me too. I feel complete.
Okay. Love you, honey.
Love you too, honey.